Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy back again from Barcelona because we just attended the Mobile World Congress and we're back with the Honor Magic 6 Pro, which was actually unveiled and launched there. This is not really officially available on the website to buy right now, but nevertheless, this is a very exciting phone because this is a proper flagship, a flagship killer if you want to label it that. And I'm very excited for this phone because this is, in my opinion, the true definition of what innovation is and what companies can do to bring out the best in the phones. And this is a very good example of that because this hits right up with the big leagues like the S24, the Galaxy S24. It actually competes very well with that. And the camera system, this phone is actually a camera-centered phone, and I wouldn't say it beats it, but it's right up there with the S24 Ultra. And I'll mention that. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's go ahead and unbox this because I'm excited to see. So we have the Honor Magic 6 Pro. We have 12 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of internal storage. You can buy this with 16 gigs of RAM as well. That's only available for the 512 and 1 terabyte storage options. The color that we have today is the sage green, which has the vegan leather option on the back, which is a textured back, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. You also get the option of a black color, which has a simple glass back. But today we have what I would refer to as the hero color because this is the one that's been mostly advertised. We have the phone right here, which I'll touch in a little bit. Let's look at what else we have. Obviously same old details. We have the clear case on the back, and then you have that large cutout for the camera, and then we also have the SIM pin and the USB-C to USB-A cable. And we also get an 100-watt charger out of the box. Now I should say that I saw a lot of reviews where the phone didn't come with anything, or it didn't come with anything apart from just a cable, which was weird to me. But I think depending on where you live or depending on where this is available, you will either get a charger or you will not. But fortunately enough, we did get a 100-watt charger out of the box. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the phone. So we have the sage green color, and this is a vegan leather option on the back. So it has that faux leather type of feel. It also has an accent of kind of like a gold hue on the side. So the aluminum sides and the ring camera on the back is actually made up of aluminum, and they have a little bit of a gold hue, which really complement the overall color and the contrast of the phone. And I really like the way that the camera system on the back is still kind of like that same signature that you get from Honor phones, so it's still recognizable as an Honor phone. But then they have this ring that actually stands out because it's more of a curved square. I don't know if you want to describe it as that, but I just really like the way it looks because it really makes it stand out, and it's undoubtedly a recognizable Honor phone. I also like that the phone feels very symmetrical in the hands. It has a very nice weight and a very nice balance to it. We have aluminum sides. We have dual stereo speakers. We have one on top and one on the bottom. We also have the USB-C port. We have the SIM tray over here, which will support 2 SIMs. It will not have the option for an external memory card. On this side, we pretty much don't have anything. We also have an IR blaster, a microphone, and on this side, we have the power button and the volume rockers. On the front, obviously, we have glass, and we also have IP58 dust and water resistance, which means that you can dunk it in 1.5 meters of water for around 30 minutes without any damage to it. Now, one of the things that stands out about the phone, that really stands out, is actually the display. So the display is, first of all, this is a curved display. So it's curved from the back and also from the front, so it feels very well in the hands. But it also has a very good symmetry to it, and that's actually really difficult to pull off because a lot of the times a phone that's going to be curved will not have symmetrical bezels. This one sort of almost has symmetrical bezels, so I really like that they made an effort to do that. One of the reasons why this time the S24 Ultra has equal bezels all around is because that they had introduced a flat edge display, which was not possible before. But this still having a curved display kind of has very symmetrical bezels, which is something that I really like. Another thing that may look familiar as well is the camera cutout for the selfie camera. Now this has two it looks like it has two cameras. It has one camera, but it also has another 3D sensor. And it also looks like a dynamic island. It actually also has a similar feature to that. So if we go ahead, let's say if I have to record something and I go back into the home screen, it's gonna immediately show me the minutes or the seconds that is being recorded, and I can also interact with it. So I can go ahead and click on it, and exactly the same way that the dynamic island works on the iPhone, in a very similar way, it will also show you the actual recording, and you can even click to enter the application. And this is probably the best Android phone that has this feature. I've seen other phones. I believe Realme tried to do something very similar, which was not nearly what the dynamic island is, but it was an effort to that. This is probably the closest thing to an actual dynamic island, and it works in a very similar way. And if we just talk about the overall screen, this is a 6.8-inch AMOLED LTPO display. The part that stands out about this is the brightness. So this has a blinding 5,000 nits of peak brightness, but let me be clear that it's only going to be activated when you are watching HDR content. So it's not something that's going to be available at all times. Nevertheless, the screen is still pretty much bright. It will go up to 1600 nits of peak brightness on auto mode, which I think is just enough. I did test this out in the sunlight, and there was no problem whatsoever in navigating and looking at the phone. One other thing that you see that is, again, not very much available on a lot of Android phones is the always on display. And it's very similar to how Apple does it. So you can actually still see the background, but it just dims it a little bit. And this option is available to be set up in a way that it can be turned on at all times as an always on, or you can schedule it, or it can go ahead and shut down after a few seconds, similar to the way I have set up right now. So if it shows me notification, it will kind of show me that always on display, but as you can see that it's already now turned off. So you have the option of doing that if you don't want to waste battery, or if you want to save a little bit on battery, you have the option of doing that. Another very unique feature about this is actually the dimming or the eye comfort. So this comes with a circadian night display, and what that does is basically just starts to change the tone of the display as it gets as the evening starts to set. So you can actually schedule this or enable it at all day. And you also have a PWM dimming display with 4320 Hz ultra high frequency. Now if you talk about the 3D sensor here on the so-called dynamic island, this is a flight of time sensor. So this is very similar to the technology that Apple also uses. So for face recognition, a lot of the phones right now, especially Android, they're only using the selfie camera to unlock as a face recognition, but this actually uses a 3D imaging flight of time sensor, which is way more secure than just regular selfie cameras. That's why you see the two cut out for the two cameras. And one more thing that this actually does is, because this phone is now, or Honor is trying to implement some, you can call it AI features. Another feature that this has is the attention feature, and I don't know whether you want to classify that as an AI feature, but what it does is, let's say that I have my phone right here and it's placed. So if I have the attention mode on, if the phone is ringing and I just look at it and it detects that I'm actually looking at the phone, what it's gonna do is gonna lower the volume a little bit, because it knows that I've already seen it. So just for my own sake, or so that I'm not disturbed, it's gonna lower the volume. So it has a lot of different features like that, which are used with the 3D sensor and the front camera. If we look at performance, then this has, like every flagship out there, the Snapdragons 8 Gen 3 chip, which is based on a 4nm chipset. And on Tutu, it gave us 189,000 points, so very close to 190, and very close to what we've been seeing from the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. But this was not on performance mode. If we go ahead and put it on performance mode, this can get us up to 2.1 million points as well. So it's really good to see that it's hitting the benchmark numbers that we've seen on the likes of the S24 Ultra as well. So performance wise, it's as good as it gets. You also get the option of 12 and 16 gigs of RAM, as I mentioned earlier, but you only get the 16 gig RAM option with the 512 GB option or the 1 terabyte option. The battery is also something that stands out on the Honor Magic 6 Pro. That's because this has a larger than usual 5600 milliampere battery, which is something that we don't see every day. 5000 is pretty much the standard nowadays, but 5600 kind of takes it up to the next level. And then you also have the 100-watt charging that comes out of the box. The thing is that this will only support 80 watts. So when we tested it out, it was giving us, I think, just around 40 minutes to charge from 0 to 100%. And then this also has 66 watts of wireless charging, which I thought I have never heard of that. The maximum that I heard was on the OnePlus 12, which had 50 watts of wireless charging, and I was kind of blown away by that. But again, this takes it up to the next level at 66 watts of fast charging, and it also supports reverse wireless charging. I'm not quite sure the wattage there. I've never seen it more than 15 watts, so I'm assuming it's just between that. But nevertheless, you have these options that are available for the battery. And on an endurance testing, this gave us around 27 hours of talk time, 17 hours of video play time, and then an overall combined active time of 14 hours. So that's pretty good for the battery size that you're getting, and also you're getting fast charging and a charger out of the box, so you don't have to worry about battery anytime soon. Now, what we all came for is actually the cameras, and this boasts a triple camera setup. We have two 50 megapixel cameras, one main, one ultra wide, and then you have 180 megapixel periscope telephoto lens. Yes, 180 megapixels. This actually made me think whether this is the same camera sensor that Samsung uses, and to my surprise, it actually is. So this is actually the same I think it's called the HN3 sensor, but it's the same sensor that for the 200 megapixel lens that Samsung uses. So you can expect the best of the best quality out of this phone when it comes to the cameras. The main new camera uses a 1/1.3 inch sensor in place of the old model, which is smaller, but makes up for that with a lens that's brighter, and it can also stop down to f2.0, which helps maximize depth of field for close-up shots. Honor calls this the H9000 sensor, which appears to be a customized version of the OmniVision OV50H, which is also used in the iQOO 12 and the Xiaomi 14. The new telephoto lens has a 2.5 times zoom down from the 3.5 of the Magic 5 Pro for the 180 megapixel. But as I just mentioned, this is the HP3 camera sensor from Samsung. You can also see that it's mentioned 100 times zoom, and it actually does zoom to 100 times, but it's not going to be optical zoom. It switches to digital zoom, and we all know how the quality is for that. There's in some areas the text wasn't even readable, so I couldn't even see what it was saying when I was zooming up to 100 times. You get very nice looking daylight photos with the main camera, similar to those from previous models, but with some differences. And the sharpness and the details levels are pretty good as well, and also the dynamic range is great. There is a slight difference in sharpness between shots taken from f1.4 or 2.0. So there you can actually change the aperture from f1.4 and also to 2.0 from the main camera. That's something that you don't see every day, but you do have the option to switch it either from the portrait mode or just from the main camera settings. And you also have night mode, and the Magic 6 Pro will capture the same photo in night that you have in the regular photo mode with whatever auto night modes actions it needs. So it will just get the same photo, but it will actually just make a little bit of a change so that it's more, you can say, usable, or it's a little bit brighter. When it comes to the video, you can shoot up to 4K resolution, and that was a bit of a surprise to me because I thought that, especially considering that this has a Samsung sensor, I thought you could be able to shoot up to 8K, but you can't. And I'm not saying that 8K is something that you need. It's actually not really practical at all. But just having the option and just be able to say that you can shoot 8K kind of adds points to it. But nevertheless, you still get 4K resolution at 60 FPS, 30 FPS, and then you obviously get 1080p as well. For the front camera, you also have a 50 megapixel camera that will also shoot in 4K resolution at, I think, 60 and 30 FPS as well. When it comes to the software, you get pretty much all of Google services. Because this is Honor, there's actually no sanctions on it. This comes with Magic OS 8.0. And one of the things that I really liked about this is that you have a new search feature, or as I said, they're kind of implementing AI features. So one of the features that you get is the Magic Portal, which is kind of like a drag and drop feature. So if you have an image, you can actually long press it, and you can go ahead on the side, and you can, let's say, search it. You can type a note, you can email it, post it as a Facebook option. There's a ton of options that you get with that. So I can now start, let's say, it's just a very good feature that I really like, and something that is actually going in the right direction. You get 4 years of software updates, and 5 years of security patches, and of course this is built on Android 14. Now if we talk about the price, I was a bit surprised by the price because something that Honor has done is always put out very reasonably good phones, very reasonably priced phones, but not the case with the Honor with the Magic 6 Pro, because this costs just as much as the S24 Ultra, which kind of defeats the purpose of it. And I didn't expect that. I mean, I thought this would cost around the $700, $800 range, which would be suitable for this. I've seen other flagship phones from the likes of even the OnePlus, like that's a very good phone that starts at around $750, $800. We had another phone from Oppo a few days back, which was also a camera center phone, which also started at $800. I just don't get why this starts at $1,300, and that's my main criticism about this phone, because why wouldn't you go ahead and then buy the S24 when you can for the same amount of money, and you know that you get a titanium body and you have better resale value, and you get 7 years of security updates there and updates overall. So I mean, yes, this phone has a lot of new innovations, but at $1,300, it kind of makes you think a little bit. And if I convert that into dirhams, that's just around the 5,200 dirham range. Now, this price is not really official, but it's rumored to be right around that area. But yeah, guys, that's my review of the Magic 6 Pro. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Personally, a very exciting phone to look at. I was very excited when this launched out and when I heard about this phone, and it is a phone that I would actually recommend buying myself. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.